Please leave my dog alone. He doesn't like strangers.
How dare you bring that dog here? If he doesn't like being pet, then you have no right to bring him in a public place.
r/EntitledParents. Our first story we'll be reading today, entitled Mom Encounter on the Train While Taking My Dog to the Vet, from user Gothic Chick 1994. After that, customer accuses gay waiter of flirting with his wife, tries to humiliate me, gets served up some petty revenge, from user Horror Flick Guy. After that, yes, I'm the devil that, from user Mr. Full Agony. And then we'll be wrapping up with entitled Mom Threatens to Sue Me, from user Ray Allen. Thank you so much to our authors for letting us read your stories, and if you're an author who would like me to read your stories next, please submit them to the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories every single day. Entitled Mom Encounter on the Train While Taking My Dog to the Vet. Hello, Mr. Reddit. My post was on a different sub, but didn't get enough karma, so I would like to put it on yours. As you can guess, I'm an Aussie, so English is my first language, but lazy on grammar, so roast me. Using mobile. Yippee. Long story, that's because it's detailed, and remember fully, that's because I don't forget stupid people. May seem fake to a lot of people, but 100% real as my dog. Standard cast. We've got entitled Mom. We've got her kid, about 5 or 6. We've got Jake, my fat boy doggo. And we've got me, monster hunter enthusiast. This story starts off with me and my boy Jake walking to the train station, for I needed to take him to the vet for a booster needle appointment. I didn't have a car at the time, so only option is to walk and train it. Now, little description of my dog. He was 10 at the time, Jack Russell, loves attention and people, but wary about children. You see where this is going. We are waiting on the platform right at the end so we can get into the last carriage of the train. I do this because I really don't like being around people, and if he starts barking at another dog he sees, we are far away and bother no one, and I can block his vision. Our train is here. Jake waits patiently till I open the door to let us in. I look in, and no one is in the carriage. So I thought, perfect, nobody around. Go to the back where it's spacious for disabled people to go with wheelchairs. Don't worry, I wasn't in the way, as they have to go to the front of the train, so the train driver can assist them with a ramp. Our stop was 3 stops away from where we were, so I gave him a treat to distract him as we started moving. When we came to the next stop, I saw a lady, entitled Mom, and her kid at the first door of the last carriage. I didn't give any thought and kept giving my dog treats, saying good boy, and thinking they would sit around where they would come in. Kid got on first, and then entitled Mom, while face to her phone, took a quick glance over her phone after a few steps and quietly, but not out of earshot, told Kid to sit at the back. I get an irritable and nervous feeling because Jake is wary around kids, and I don't like people being near me. Personal reason. Mind this, the carriage was pretty empty, and they could have sat anywhere else besides being near me and Jake. I kept giving Jake treats to keep his eyes off of the kid, and Kid decides to sit 2 seats away from me and entitled Mom on the other side directly in front of me. Kid starts saying, "Mom, Mom, look at the dog," entitled Mom while looking down at her iPhone.
Yes, isn't it cute?
I smile a bit just to be friendly and just kept giving Jake treats, saying it's okay. At the corner of my eye, Kid then reaches out trying to grab Jake, but Jake was quicker to avoid the outstretched hand. Kid asks, "Why did your dog move? I want to pat him." "I'm sorry, but he's a bit funny around kids your age. And he's old, but you should have asked first to see if it's okay to pat him. Entitled Mom shot up, looks at me, and replies,
My boy is good with dogs. Just let him pat him.
It's not your son I'm worried about. It's my dog. If he suddenly went to nip your son because he didn't keep his distance, I would be the one in trouble and have to put him down. So I'm not risking it. Yes, dogs of any breed in Australia get put down for biting or nipping people.
Then why do you have him on the train then? Where there is going to be people and kids?
Well, that's because I don't have a car, and only way to get to his appointment is by train. But at this time, barely anyone is on. But in your case, you decided to sit near me and my dog when there are 50 seats you could have sat at.
I can sit anywhere I want to. And my kid wanted to pat your dog, so I told him to sit there.
So you think you can walk up to my dog and just tell your kid to pet a dog you don't know? Or not knowing how they would react?
My son knows how to pet a dog, let alone knows how to deal with them. If he bites, he shouldn't be here. I'll get him a muzzle.
Me being a smarty. Lady, he doesn't bite. He never has. But my concern's for both kid and dog. If I say he can't pet him because for my dog's comfort and safety and the sake of your son, maybe you should teach your son not to just walk up to any dog because the risk of getting hurt. Kid just sits there, not saying a peep. Entitled Mom huffs and raises her voice.
Dangerous dogs like him shouldn't be on public places altogether.
Me, real smarty now. Maybe dangerous people like you shouldn't have kids. I come to my stop and quickly walked off with Jake off the train before the entitled mom could shout something out from the doors. Looked back, gave a small wave, and flipped her the bird as the train leaves, and I bursted out laughing. Told my boyfriend this after I got back home and laughed about how stupid the entitled mom was. Mr. Reddit, you have my full permission to post this on YouTube at any time and day. Keep up the good work. Next we've got customer accuses gay waiter of flirting with his wife, tries to humiliate me, gets served up some petty revenge. I've worked in customer service since I was 17, 20 years to be exact. Of those 2 decades, I've spent the better part of 15 years as a server. I've seen it all and heard it all. I have quite the sense of humor and am very quick-witted. I also have an acting background. You have to be an actor to last in the service industry. I'm also in my 30s, average height, slender, brunette, and very obviously gay. I mean, I'm so flaming, I'm useful to have around during a blackout. This plays into the story. I currently work for a chain restaurant. I won't go into any specifics other than that they specialize in breakfast items and locations are primarily found in the southeastern United States. The incident I'm about to share occurred about 6 years ago, give or take, on a Sunday, just as the post-church service crowds were filtering out back into the world. Let's start working on next week's confession. At the time, I usually worked mid-shift, thus relieving the opener, and was the first of the night crew in. My first table was a party of 10, a lovely family, and they all looked amazing. The men looked like they stepped out of GQ, had the nicest suits on, and all the ladies were dressed to the nines. Seriously, these women looked like they could have been supermodels. They were that great looking. Everything from their hair, their nails, the shoes were on point. So I pull some tables together, get everyone set, distribute the menus, and have just taken the drink order. For expediency, the people in this story are customer, aka pompous insecure straight guy, customer's wife, and me, obviously. Me. I'll be right back with your drinks. Customer's wife. Young man, can you bring extra lemon with my iced tea? I smile, then go for the joke. Now, why would someone as sweet as you want to get bitter? She smiles and blushes. Everyone at the table responds with favorable chatter like I was the man. She was touched. Why, thank you. Everyone was laughing and carrying on. It was clear to anyone with half a brain that I meant it as nothing more than a compliment. Then, customer, quite seriously. Are you hitting on my wife? The laughing stopped. Everyone looked at customer with trepidation. I even heard an, uh-oh. A young woman in the party looked at me with these sympathetic eyes, like I was about to bear the brunt of customer's apparent massive inferiority complex. I, not sure how to react, could instantly feel my face and ears getting hot, which meant I was turning beet red. In that instant, I remembered I was wearing my pride bracelet. I raised my left wrist to chest level. Then I tapped my pride bracelet with my right index finger. Me, incredulously. Really? Everyone at the table loses it, hooting and a hollering. Everyone, that is, except for customer. He looks beyond confused. As I turn away to go fill their drink order, I see customer's wife leaning and whispering in his ear. Then I see him tilt his head back with this, oh, expression on his face. So clueless. I returned a couple of minutes later with the drink order and pass all of the drinks out without incident. I take out my order pad. Is everyone ready to order? Customer. I have a question. I hear a few people in the party suck their teeth and scoff. They know something's about to go down. A couple of the ladies cringe. Me, on the other hand, I don't know what to expect. I'm thinking it's going to be menu related or something similar. Yes, sir. Do you think I'm attractive? The whole party breaks into a series of overlapping outbursts. I hear a couple of, oh, lords, and you ain't right. They can't believe he just went there. I wait for them all to calm down as I, once again, feel myself turning 50 shades of red. Now for the petty revenge. Me, with calculated iciness. No, sir. I have standards. Another outburst from the whole table, as it was now clear no one had ever zinged this guy before. Customer, all smiles, thinking he had come up with some clever retort. His face instantly fell. Customer, put off he was the butt of a joke. Hey, what's the matter with me? Me, just as coldly. Where would you like me to start? I only have an 8-hour shift. Do you want to order or not? Not a sound from the entire table. I take their food order and collect the menus. Customer. I didn't mean to get personal. Me, straight-faced. Yeah, well, you didn't do it by accident. Mind you, I was loving it this whole time. I was laughing on the inside. I totally had this guy going, thinking he had offended me and hurt my feelings. Hardly. Yes, he did blindside me with his comments, but I was not in the least bit offended. Having grown up in Redneck Riviera, one gets used to comments of that nature. I learned to adapt and respond accordingly. I wasn't born with my exquisite wit. I went into full ice queen mode. Nothing but business. No more chatting with the other guests in their party. No more personality. I let them all think I was extremely upset. They finished their meals, and I was collecting the dishes. I thanked them all for coming, and then I collected the credit card slip. It had an exorbitant tip on it, and an apology note was written on a napkin placed underneath it. I guess the silent treatment paid off. I'm fairly certain customer's wife had insisted that he tip me well for being so rude. Perhaps it will be a teachable moment for him. Permission to use this on YouTube is granted. Just please drop the link in the comments section so I can watch the video once it's available. Thank you. Next we've got, yes, I'm the devil that. I'm mobile, and any wrong spelling or grammar, it's my fault. So, hello Reddit and Re-Army. And this story came from when I was 18. I'm 20 now. And this story went so dark, and I don't know if it's entitled Parents or a revenge story. And so I'm 18 years old at that time. I had just graduated from high school and now working for my college. I'm working in a store, very important later, a local pet shop, open Monday to Friday. And so to the story. I'm living in a not so big apartment, and I'm living with 3 roommates and my other roommate that is very loud and very lazy and very disgusting. So to the cast, ladies and gentlemen, we've got me. Me. Just me, Mr. Agony. We've got roommate 1, roommate 2, entitled roommate, the stupid and a jerk. We've got Karen, and we've got my boss. So, I live in, it's private, and I have work every Monday through Friday, 6 hours a day, and everyone is complaining about entitled roommate because of their behavior, like throwing junk everywhere and leaving wires and lights turned on. He never cleaned the toilet bowl after using it, and my other roommates complained, so we confronted him, and all he says is,
"I'm sorry, I won't do it again."
and
"I didn't do it."
And so he gets away with it. So me and my other roommates had plans so we could make him leave. But it doesn't work. The more days he stays, the more we had plans to make him leave. But still didn't work. So it's Monday. And so I go to work, and when I was working, I found a very, very cute, adorable hedgehog. And I really love it. And so after work, I purchased it. And a huge cage. And some tiny home, and some bowls, and food, and of course, a female hedgehog. Her name is Kawaii, by the way. I love anime so much that I named her Kawaii. And because I'm the only one working at the store, my boss was the one that rang me up. That was when I asked him about the hedgehogs. My boss. Okay, it's done. Let's close the shop and take care of that tiny hedgehog. Me. I'm asking about the hedgehog, how to take care of it. They are very grumpy and eat lots and sleep for like every day and only wake up to eat. And they like to hide and they are great swimmers. And sometimes you give them treats like a mealworm. And if you want, I have dangling beetles I could give you too for free. They are the adult form of mealworms, and they lay a lot of eggs and grow into mealworms, so you won't waste a lot of money buying a lot of mealworms. Thank you, but what does that worm beetle eat? They eat fruit and vegetables or decaying food. And so I leave the store with 3 pets, and now when I get home, I put my hedgehog in my room and my beetles. And so I remember about my boss saying that the beetles lay mealworms, so I have a brilliant plan in my head. So I waited months and see that there are little worms, and took them and I fed some to my hedgehog and some to my evil plan. So, entitled roommate is vegetarian. He's just showing off that he is a vegetarian. He just buys vegetables and never eats them. He eats a lot of pizza and burgers. And he had a lot of vegetables and fruits in his own tiny fridge, probably decaying. So I go silently to his room at night and put the tiny worms there. And after 1 to 2 months, luckily, he stops eating pizza and burger and was attempting to eat a salad, but entitled roommate screamed.
"What the heck is this?"
Me, very happy that the mealworms are huge and have eaten his leafy food, and lying that I cared, and I took a small container to scoop all the worms. Me. Go out. I'll take care of it.
"Are you sure?"
He's afraid of bugs. Yeah, I'm sure. As soon as he leaves the room, I took all my mealworms, and now larger than before. I took them to put in my container and leave. They are huge and can't wait to feed to my hedgehogs. After that, entitled roommate confronted me.
"Is that rat and beetle yours?"
Yes.
"That beetle lays worms. It must have escaped and eaten my food. That means it's your fault that my vegetables have decayed. Don't you know that I'm a vegetarian?"
It's not my fault that you left your fruits and vegetables for like 2 months. And what are you saying, a vegetarian? I keep seeing a pizza box and burger wrappers left in your room. Entitled roommate huffs and leaves, and the next day I came home and I hear roommate 1, roommate 2, and entitled roommate talking. Entitled roommate.
Take a look at my new cat. His fur is amazing. So if OP's rat, or whatever that thing is, escapes, my cat will definitely eat that stupid rat.
Roommate 1. No. That hedgehog is faster and deadly. It has. Entitled roommate cuts him off.
No! How would that rat defeat my cat?
She definitely didn't see the hedgehog spikes went up. And so his cat was wandering around, and so I released Kawaii. And Kawaii walked, and I'm still following him. By the way, and she is really fat, and she is very slow. And so I waited, and the cat sees my hedgehogs, and suddenly entitled roommate enters. He sees his cat is about to attack my hedgehog, and he's looking at me smiling. But I'm so calm, and he is wondering why. And then the cat slowly walking to Kawaii, and of course, hedgehog slowly curls, and entitled roommate was looking like,
What the heck?
and roommate 1 and 2 enter. Then cat uses his paw with sharp claws to Kawaii. Kawaii quickly curls with long spikes, completely covering her body, and it was tragic. The cat looked like a rocket ship when his paw hit Kawaii's spikes. It flies like a rocket and ran away from me, and roommate 1 and 2 laugh about it. And once again, entitled roommate huffs and shouts his cat's name about my hogs and leaves. And after that, 2 days passed when I got home. Entitled roommate and entitled mom were waiting for me, and they confronted me. Her mom looks like a plastic, very shiny face, but old and filled with makeup, but her hair looks like a rainbow, and it's making her look like a grumpy clown.
Are you the one who had that rat that hurt my son's cat? And those worms that eated his food?
I don't think so.
How dare you, you piece of crap! How dare you do that to my son? You're a devil! Devil!
Me, taking devil with pride. Yes, I'm the devil that did all. So, what are you gonna do? Cry? Roommate 1 and roommate 2 back me up. Roommate 1. Even I try to make your son leave this place because of his behavior.
How dare!
Roommate 2 cuts her off. We planned so much, like putting dangerous things in his clothes, and even cutting holes in his clothes, and turning the electricity off when he plays on his Xbox. And about his room, there's lots of crap in there, and some decaying food in his room. And about his cute little cat, he can't even feed it. We want him to leave.
Stop screaming at me! So that's what you're doing to my son. Did you know that my son will graduate soon? And become a doctor soon? And he even became a vegetarian to help the animals in the world. He has a better future than the 3 of you. All of you are worthless.
Before I proceed, things that you need to know about entitled roommate. He never goes to his classes, and roommate 1 was his classmate, said that he was expelled by the school because of bad behavior in school, like bullying and talking back to his teachers and getting involved in things he shouldn't have been doing. Me. Did your son tell you that he got expelled?
What are you talking about?
Your son got expelled because he was doing bad things. How can your son become a doctor now? What about his future now? Who is the worthless now? Roommate 1. And your son got a great record in school. 5 guidance, 98 absence, and got 0 in exams. Got the lowest grade. I hope he gets a beautiful future. Entitled mom is sobbing.
That's not true. My son won't do that.
Then why don't you ask him? Entitled roommate was like a stone and did not talk and don't move, and entitled mom spoke to him.
Is that true?
Entitled roommate is silent.
How dare you did this? I can't believe this. We're going to pack your things.
Where are we going?
Home!
This is my home.
Not for long. Because of what you did, we're going back to our house at our hometown. Pack your things now.
Me. Can I help so you can leave? Roommate 1.
I volunteer to help. I don't need your help.
Entitled roommate packs his things, and him and his mother leave. And they leave, and because of that, I buy a new hedgehog, and his name is Saiki Kuso. Got the name from an anime. And clean his room and put my pets there. And the luckily apartment became my own house. The owner was going to live somewhere else. He's getting married, and no one gonna take care of it, so he gives the place to me. So me and roommates 1 and 2 live there happy with our pet Kawaii and Saiki and their 5 gifted small hedgelings. I was very careful to clean them, give them fresh fruits and cat food. Sorry, I don't know how to put pictures on here, but Kawaii is dark brown, and Saiki is albino, and 2 of their child is an albino. Some is light brown and darker brown, and we live happily ever after. And that's why I got my nickname, Agony. My friend give that to me, that because of my hot temper and devilish, and how I speak to entitled mom and the evil things I'd done. Moral of the story: if you have to make someone leave a place, make all you can to make him leave. And sorry because of a very, very long story. But Nanny, it's not over yet. This story has 2 parts. Wait for the next update. And our final story of the day, entitled Mom Threatens to Sue Me. Mr. Reddit and Re-Army. I love watching and listening to these videos, especially the voices that you give to characters. I finally have a story to share. Sadly, the entitled mom in this story is my own. So this is a short story. I'm not on mobile. I was an English language arts teacher for 7 years, so any grammar, editing mistakes are because I was hurrying. Feel free to point them out and I'll fix them. Background. My mom is an alcoholic. She doesn't believe that she has a problem. She thinks that every problem that she has is everyone else's problem but her own. During my childhood, my sister and I were put into some scary situations when her flavor of the week, boyfriend or husband, who was also an alcoholic, would put her through verbal, mental, and physical abuse. When I was 11, I moved in with my grandmother to get some much-needed stability. My sister stayed, but the situations only slightly got better. As a matter of fact, the last man that my mom married was probably the best man that she's ever been around. My mom's behavior has gotten so bad that my sister has now cut her completely out of her life. I live in another state and speak to her mostly by text. I make sure never to call her because I never know what I'm walking into if I call her. The latest storm. Recently, I wrote my memoirs. I know that I'm young, only 36, but I have always wanted to write my story about how God took me from where I was and used all the terrible things that happened to me and made me the person that I am. I changed all the names and places in the short story. I don't describe anyone in the story. I even preface it by, more or less, saying that it's my story from my memoirs. The other day, to get some buzz around it, I posted the book on Facebook. Last night at 2 a.m., my mom texted me and said,
If you don't take that book off of Amazon, calling it your life stories but changing the names, I'm going to sue you for defamation of character.
She said a couple more things, but that was the gist. My husband and I talked about it, and I showed him the book. In the entire book, 14 chapters, I talked about my mom in only 3. My husband advised me that it was just not worth it to keep it up, so I have unpublished it. The ebook is still up for some reason, but will be taken down as soon as some promotion is over. My sister thinks I shouldn't give in to her, and part of me thinks she is right. My husband thinks that it's not worth the threat of her suing me, and the other part of me thinks he is right. My mom thinks that she can just call or text me and say jump, and I will just ask how high. My fellow Redditors, am I the jerk? Did I do the right thing? How should I handle it? Update. Today my mom called me, and oh, the entitled jerk. Apparently she, or someone she knows, bought a digital copy of my book. That's the only way that she could have had any knowledge of some of the things that she said to me. Our cast. We've got OP, me. We've got entitled parent, my mom. I'll mostly just tell what she said and what I told her back. It might not be in the exact order on the conversation that I had with her.
Do you realize what you have done to me? You have dragged my name through the mud. And don't give me this, I changed the names crap. Anyone who knows you will know that I am your mother.
Well, my point in writing it was to show how God took me through the horrible things that I went through as a child, and all the things that I have been through, and made me who I am.
Well, that's not what comes across. It makes me look like a bad parent. And I'm sorry that I was such a bad mother to you. I thought that you said that you had forgiven me. But then you do something like this.
Again, it was not to hurt you or anyone else. It was to share my story with others, to maybe help others that might be going through what I have been through.
And I see that you left some things out.
Like what?
Like how your husband got you to put on lithium, so he won't have to have another kid with you. Or how you got kicked out of your master's program and can't get a job, and it's everyone else's fault.
Well, first of all, it was the doctor that suggested we try lithium in the first place. So let's get that straight. My husband had nothing to do with it.
Keep telling yourself that.
And second of all, I wrote it before all the stuff happened with my masters, so I didn't get a chance to include it in the book before I published it.
How convenient. And you never had long talks with your father. Neither of you is capable of having long conversations.
How would you know? You weren't there.
It never happened. But I'm telling you, if I see that book out there, I will sue you for defamation of character. I never gave you permission to write about me, so I will sue you. That is a promise.
There was more, but this gives you a peek into our broken relationship. And congrats to our Regenerals of the day, Joshua, Casey, Mandish Panda, and KC Cat 5. Become tomorrow's Regenerals by dropping as many Rees as you can in the comments below.